Welcome to the Dirty Water Red Sox podcast, Ep.5, hosted by God, Boston Sports, and Grandstand Productions. Roll the intro. And hi, everybody. I'm your host, Rob Anglin. My co-host, Italy Judd, is sadly not here today because he has taken some personal time to himself. But we do got Noah and Dev here as always. How are we doing today, boys?
Excited, very excited.
Fabulous.
Taking two
Phenomenal.
out of three, amazing.
Sox won a series. Can't believe
The
it.
Sox won a series, man, for the first time, and it feels like a long time. This team has been struggling. This team has not been finding the right groove, but it is okay because it is a new month, the month of September, and the hardest grind of the season. Speaking about winning the series, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Royals recap of this series today because we have a lot to talk about the Kansas City Royals recap. Red Sox had a tough game one, but ended up bouncing back in the next two games, taking the series win in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm going to start with Noah, and I'm going to go to Dev after. We're going to talk about this Kansas City Royals recap and what we thought about this series, obviously after an ugly game one, turning into a good series. Take it away, Noah.
I mean, that first game was about as brutal as it can get, right? James Paxton had absolutely nothing. Threw 36 pitches, couldn't locate his stuff at all. I like to think that this is just fatigue from not having pitched having pitched this many innings since before he was at Tommy John, which, believe it or not, I think was like 2019. He only got 4 outs, gave up 2 homers, 5 hits, 6 runs. Just really brutal stuff from Paxton. Didn't get a strikeout. Command once again shaky. And then they went to Brandon Walter, who was one of their September call-ups, who was used as another human sacrifice, which we'll get to later in the podcast. We'll talk about the human sacrifices that have occurred over the past couple of weeks. But the series ended on a high note. The Red Sox ended up taking the last 2 games. And what I forgot to mention kind of about the first game too, they got shut down by Jordan Lyles for 8 innings. One of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball. Went 8 strong against the Red Sox through 114 pitches. Just absolutely brutal stuff there for Boston. But they rebounded well there. Second game, they had a 9-5 win. Tanner Houck was sharp up until the 6th. I think it was the 6th inning where he completely fell apart. But that's what you get with Tanner Houck. The third time of the order comes around, Houck completely crumbles, and that's exactly what happened there against Kansas City. But they held on for the 9-5 win, and then today a 7-3 win. Chris Sale threw a ton of pitches. I think he threw, what was it, guys, 100 pitches today that Sale threw?
Close to, yeah.
Something like that. I'll look at this right now. Chris Sale threw, it's not going to tell me, but I think 100 pitches today. Chris Sale threw 100 pitches through 5 innings. It's not very efficient, but 5 strong, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs. Probably the best he's looked since coming off the IL, all in all. And then they pointed to Jovera, Schreiber, Bernardino. Rough outing for Kenley Jansen, who notoriously is not good in non-save situations. But, again, he needed some work. I don't think he's worked in like 4 days. So, ultimately, though, good series win for Boston. They needed this series win for any chance to stay alive. But as we'll talk about later, their playoffs hopes are running slim and trim.
It really is. And after being swept by the Houston Astros at home, the last thing you want to do is see your team go into Kansas City. And it looked like after that first game that they were going to get their asses handed to them. But they ended up figuring it out. I'm going to go to you, Dev. Tell me your thoughts about this Kansas City Royals series and what do you think is going to happen for this Red Sox team moving forward?
Well, here's the thing. It was a huge, series win for the Boston Red Sox. In all honesty, after the first game, I was thinking, oh, crap, here we go. We're about to get swept by 2 teams, one team that's really good and one team that is emotional damage right now. 41 and like 92 right now. I mean, if we were to get swept by them, I would have given my honest opinion saying that, this team is done for. We are the most saddest team right now. I would have said, thank you, Red Sox Nation. Heim Bloom, Alex Cora, we'll look for new guys to replace, and we'll be happy. But, hey, a series win is a series win. I'll take it. James Paxton, like Noah said, looked absolutely terrible in the first series game. But, they were talking about it in the broadcast saying that, they wouldn't be surprised if they shut down, James Paxton for, 2 weeks, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But with this, starting pitching, we kind of need a lot of help right here. But I'm glad that Duvall is hitting well for the Red Sox. I'm glad Devers, he came close to hitting home run number 30 this afternoon. But, We just need some players to wake up to, keep this momentum going. Like, keep it going, keep that wheel running. Like I've been saying since the start of this one, this team is a freaking wagon. So let's hope that they can continue on this hot streak right now, maybe win, 5, maybe 6 games. And we need a lot of help from, whoever's playing the Rangers, whoever's playing the Blue Jays. But I really have some high hopes for this team. I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to surprise a lot of teams these next couple of series for sure.
The one thing I got to say, too, about this Red Sox team is they need to be a little bit more consistent on the pitching side, but obviously they're working on it. Let me think my thoughts on this. The first game of the series, an ugly loss, a blowout loss. You hate to see it. And just like the one that happened the other day, they kept a guy in as a human sacrifice. Another human sacrifice. We're going to get into that later on because that's the talk about why Cora is burning out the relievers, but that's besides the point. Game 2, Alex Verdugo almost hits for the cycle. He's been heating up so good recently, and I don't know what's gotten in him, but I'm not complaining. He's been very more consistent at the plate after having that huge slump in the month of July. Looked very ugly at the plate, but he looks really good right now. He's hitting the ball very well. Obviously, that 3-homer leadoff homer stretch that he had against the Dodgers and the Astros, he looked really good. And in Game 3, obviously today, we saw a lot of good stuff. Obviously from Chris Sale, even though he threw 100 pitches, and obviously I've been waiting on to bring these out, but we got Macho Man hitting bombs. We got at the game the other day. These are sick, by the way, but shout out to Masataka Yoshida because these are sick for a home run celebration. But he hit the ball very well. He finally got some lift in his swing. You'll have to see it. Speaking about lift in the swing, Adam Duvall on another planet almost has 20 homers this year. He's been figuring it out at the plate. I know Noah's very shocked right now, and we're going to get into Duvall in a little bit later as well. I love how everything we're talking about is going to tie into what we're going to talk about in this episode. But look, does Duvall have a future in Boston? We will see, but we'll talk about it later. He might. He's looking good. And now we're going to talk about the future, but we're going to talk about a different future. We're going to talk about the American League playoff updates and do the Boston Red Sox. Not the week ahead. We'll actually talk about the week ahead, actually. Let's talk about the week ahead first for the Boston Red Sox. We're playing the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays coming up this week. We got to figure out how we're going to sneak into this playoff spot with the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays ahead of us in the AL East. I'm going to start with Dev this time. I'm going to go our way around. Are you looking forward to this week with these two big series against these AL East giants?
Man, I mean, I wish that I could say that, we are better than these teams, but we are not better than the Rays or the Orioles. But you have to say, ever since the, Wander Franco situation, the Rays have been dipping a little bit downward in the standings a little bit. So I'm really hoping, I think we could surprise the Rays. They were talking about this later on in the stream for the Boston Red Sox, saying that, with Wander Franco being out, he's a big piece to the Tampa Bay Rays that, the Red Sox can probably steal a couple of games from the Tampa Bay Rays. I can say this as a Red Sox fan. The Tampa Bay Rays this year, they have absolutely owned us. They swept us in the 4-game series. They took 2 out of 3 at Fenway Park. But, I think that it's our time to shine. That was back in April and May that they owned us. Now it's time for us to take the plate. Yoshida to hit some more dingers. Rafael Devers, he needs to, have some less errors. Because here's the thing. If Rafael Devers did not have as much errors as he had this year, we'd probably be looking at a playoff spot right now if it wasn't for his errors or everyone's favorite shortstop, Kike Hernandez. We'd be probably looking at second or third place wildcard spot. I'm not saying that we could have been a first place team, but I think that, we can surprise a lot of these AL East teams. But it ain't going to be easy. We need to take things one step at a time. Maybe take 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay, possibly 2 out of 3 from Orioles, even though the Orioles are the better team. And surprisingly, this year they are a first place team. But I think that if we take 4 out of 6 from these two teams, I think we'll do fine.
I think we'll do fine as well. And I think the one thing that you got to look at is going into this is, are the Boston Red Sox going to play good baseball against the Tampa Bay Rays? And obviously we know that it is a new – sorry, guys, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. I apologize. We just want to talk – we want to see the Red Sox perform well. And I think the one thing that you want to see is the Boston Red Sox perform well this year against Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tampa Bay owned us in the beginning of the year, like Dev mentioned, and it's been very hard for the Red Sox and all of Major League Baseball to handle the Rays at the time because in the beginning of the year, Tampa Bay looked like they were unstoppable. They looked like a juggernaut. Same thing with Baltimore, the surprise team. Last year, they weren't doing too well, but they ended up figuring it out. And it all started with them clicking with calling up a lot of young guys. Gunnar Henderson was slumping. He's turned it around this year. He's having a pretty good year now. Adley Rutschman. The fun fact, the Orioles haven't lost a series since Adley Rutschman's been called up. That is insanity. That's an ESPN stat right
crazy
there.
Stat.
That's actually crazy. And by the way, they're considering calling up Jackson Holiday at the end of the year.
Believe it or not, I'm glad you mentioned that. I hate to cut you off, but today they just promoted him to AAA. So Jackson Holiday on the move to AAA, one step closer to the bigs, which is cool. 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
19 years old.
Damn.
He is going to be something for the future for Baltimore. But yeah, I hope the Red Sox play good baseball against the two AL East teams. They're chasing them. They're chasing the Rays in the wild card. They're chasing the Blue Jays in the wild card. And obviously the division's not going to be won. Let's be honest here. The Orioles got it unlocked. Or Tampa Bay might sneak in there. They're playing a hot baseball. But the Red Sox can play good baseball. Anything is possible, especially coming up to this next week. Sorry for running on too long. I'm going to bring it to Noah. Noah, tell me what you think about this week coming up. What do you think about the Tampa Bay Rays series in Baltimore heading up in these upcoming week?
Yeah, I know we're trying to kind of move on to the next topic, so I'll keep this short and brief. I'm just going to speak to you honestly as an honest-to-God Red Sox fan. I don't like this series against Tampa Bay at all. The Red Sox notoriously are horrible when they go to the Trop. Pitching matchups aren't, really favor Boston here. Day game Bayo against Aaron Savale, who's kind of found something this year. Cutter Crawford, who's really struggled as of late. And then James Paxton, who's just been horrible as of late. I'm going to go on record and say that the Tampa Bay Rays end up sweeping the Red Sox this weekend. Boston can't play at the Trop, combined with the pitching matchups. I don't like it for Boston. However, things turn back to Fenway. They've got 3 against Baltimore there. I think they'll take 2 of 3. I think they'll win the Cole Irvin start with Tanner Houck on the mound for Boston. I think they'll lose the stale start against Kyle Bradish, but I think they will get the rubber match there and end up beating Jack Flaherty. So overall, I think they'll get swept by Tampa, but end up taking 2 of 3 from Baltimore.
I would love to see them take a series against Baltimore because Baltimore has been a hot team. Tampa Bay, also a hot team throughout the year. But this brings us into our next topic because all 3 teams right now have an opportunity of playing October baseball. And this is the playoff picture right now. We have a playoff update in Major League Baseball. The wild card is on the way. And I think the Boston Red Sox have an opportunity. It's looking bleak the way they've been playing right now, but there's still hope in Boston that we could possibly be playing baseball at Fenway Park in October. Are the playoffs out of reach for the Red Sox? Is there still hope? Are we praying for an October miracle? Let's find out. I'm going to go to Dev just because Noah ended the last segment. What do you think is going to happen at this last month of the season? You think the Red Sox sneak into the playoffs? Is it all hope end in Boston, or do we still believe in Boston here in late September?
Man, Rob, I want to be positive about this team. I really do. I've been saying this whole time that, this team is going to shock the world, like I said in episode 4. But it's just like, we just keep on kicking each other in the, knees right now. It's just like this team goes on a hot winning streak. It's like an emotion roller coaster. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. They have a 5-game winning streak, and then they lose the next 8 games. I want to say this team is going to make the playoffs, but it's just like, where's the hypeness? Where's, someone screaming in the dugout, we need a Chris Sale. We need a David Ortiz moment where, they're bringing them all into the dugout and saying like, hey, we need to win this, this freaking, series right now because you're playing the top 2 teams. But, I want to stay positive. I don't want to be negative about the Red Sox because if I start being negative, then I might have to cancel myself. But I think that, this team for sure is going to make it happen. I think that we're going to surprise, the Orioles, maybe the Rays. It's just like we need some help, guys. We need some help from the teams that are playing the Blue Jays, that are playing the Rangers right now. So I'm gonna say I think we have a shot, but probably knowing our luck, it's not gonna happen. But I'm in the middle, yes and no. But I want to. It's like 58% yes. So I'm gonna say yes. We somehow squeak it in.
I love that. Dev, see, the thing about Dev is he's never pessimistic. There's always optimism in there, and that's what I love about it. they always got to keep the positivity. Noah, what are you thinking? Do you think the Red Sox are able to somehow make a miracle run here and somehow play playoff baseball in October? Or do you think it's as good as done? We're waving the white flag, heading home, sitting on the couches, watching playoff baseball. That is not by the Boston Red Sox.
The way I look at, I look at Devin as Mr. Positive, right? I've always looked at Devin as Mr. Positive, right? I look at myself as Mr. Negative, unfortunately. I don't see the Boston Red Sox making the playoffs. I think it's just kind of out of reach at this point. They're 5.5 games back right now, 4.5 back even of the first team out. I just Houston's way too experienced to miss the playoffs. I think Texas's bullpen. When I tell you Texas's bullpen is horrendous, Texas's bullpen is absolutely horrendous. But I don't think 5.5 games, especially with the schedule Boston have left. You look at even past Tampa and Toronto, the Yankees, who obviously we just saw sweep the Astros, but then it's Toronto again, Texas, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Baltimore. All of those teams, but two of them I just named to you, are currently in the playoffs. All but two of those teams are in the playoffs. I think they have like the third hardest schedule from here on out. It's going to be a challenge. Now, I'm not writing them off because hypothetically they could still sneak in, but here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go on record and say this. If they find a way to take 2 of 3 or sweep the Rays, they need to break out the City Connect jerseys for the homestand. If they take 2 of 3 from the Rays or sweep, Orioles, Yankees, you're getting the City Connect jerseys. That's all I'll say.
Gotta bring out, yes, sir. Bring out the all reliable blue and yellow jerseys as we enter October. Let's go. Yes, sir. That's what we want to hear in October, baby. I'm going to go and tell you guys what I think about the Boston Red Sox here entering October soon. I can see now Noah's Mr. Pessimistic, as he claims. Dev's Mr. Positive. I am 50-50. I want to be Mr. Brightside, but everybody knows. On here, I'm Mr. Brightside. On TikTok, I'm Mr. Pessimistic. But
check out Rob's TikTok. Check out
my TikTok if you want to see me yelling at the Red Sox when I'm angry. But let me tell you this right now. This Boston Red Sox team has been a roller coaster of emotions since day one. Opening day, I was there sitting in the freezing cold, watching them play the Baltimore Orioles and almost have a comeback. They have shown a lot of fight late in the games. And here's something that I want to say. This team has potential to play in October, and if they can have consistent pitching. They haven't shown consistent pitching, but they have shown good offense. Our offense is ranked top 3 in Major League Baseball. Our defense is ranked 25th in Major League Baseball with a -17 DRS, which is at league worst. Obviously, thanks, Kike Hernandez. Thank you, Rafael Devers. You guys have played amazing defense this year. It's that bad, but it's okay. But the thing is, Rafael Devers has 30 home runs, so that's even now. What did Kike Hernandez do with the bat? Oh, sorry. I love you, Kike. I'm just fucking with you. But at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to say. This Red Sox team has a shot at the playoffs, and if they have a record of 19-6, that is the most realistic opportunity. And in these next 25 games for the Boston Red Sox to get 90 wins and have an opportunity at playing Major League Baseball in October. Loving this cheer from the Red Sox crowd behind me right now. No, but in real seriousness, I think this Red Sox team, shout out to Justin producing it in the background right now. Got the hype going on with this. He's got the Let's Go Red Sox behind me. I really do think this Red Sox team can play playoff baseball. I really think if they can, and I like Noah's segment right there talking about, comment, talking about if they bring out the City Connect jerseys, because I honestly think the City Connect jerseys, they're just good luck. And if you win 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, if you win the sweep or win 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay, you're playing New York, you're playing Texas, who you owned in the beginning of the year. I would love to see the City Connect jerseys on the road. I really would. I think that'd be pretty cool to see the City Connect jerseys on the road in Texas, on the road in New York. Just imagine walking in New York and seeing the City Connect jerseys. That'd be sick.
That'd be amazing.
The Boston Red Sox have opportunities here to play October baseball. I really do. But then again, part of me thinks that we're going to suffer and we're going to be watching the Houston Astros dominate in the playoffs again. But one can dream. A Bostonian
rather have the Astros than the Yankees. Rather have the Astros than the Yankees.
Hey, the Yankees are in last place, so where they belong. So that's always good.
I'd rather just not watch. If it's between the Astros and the Yankees, I think I would just rather not watch. I think I'd just turn the TV off.
It is very interesting, though. I'm not going to lie. But hey, here on Guy Boston Sports, it's okay. If we don't have Red Sox playoff baseball, we have Patriots football in the fall, and we have Celtics football. Or sorry, Celtics basketball. I'm in football mode right now. Celtics basketball in
It's
October.
football season. It's
It's
football
football
right.
season, boys. College football was on today. UMass Boston yesterday got smashed, by the way. UMass
and
got
baseball season.
smashed.
Don't forget, it's baseball season too. Let's go.
It is baseball season before anything. Now,
That's right.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Alex Cora for a minute
boy.
because Alex Cora is a great manager, but when it comes to the bullpen, Alex Cora does one thing and one thing very good in recent years, and that is burning out his relievers. As we all know, Alex Cora likes to overuse relievers, and we've seen it by there was a graphic on Nessa, and I wish I had it to be able to be popped up here, but you can see the bullpen usage from a lot of relievers, and this causes him to use human sacrifices in twice in 1 week. I'm gonna bring it to you, Noah. Because you love Alex Cora. We all know you're an Alex Cora lover here.
Big fan.
How do you
Big
feel
fan.
about his bullpen usage, obviously, which we mentioned previously, but also how do you feel? Do you think he's really burning out the relievers? And if so, who do you think he's burning out the most? And how do you feel about these human sacrifices? Because if that was me personally, he shouldn't deserve a job if he's ruining men's careers out here.
Okay. 2 things first off. This is the topic that I personally requested. At the list of the topics, I put this at number 1. Number 2, you guys, I'm going to name 3 guys, right? And I want you to tell me what all 3 of these guys have in common. Okay? Can you do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Matt Barnes, John Schreiber, Josh Winkowski. I butchered that. Sorry. Winkowski, whatever. What do those 3 guys have in common?
They all suck under pressure.
Amazing first parts of their careers in Boston and dominant, and then all of a sudden just fell off a cliff.
Bingo. All 3 of those guys are burned out now. Matt Barnes had an all-star first half in 2021. Then he had a 5 ERA in the second half of the season because he worked every day. John Schreiber was the only reason we had like 75 wins last year. Without John Schreiber, they probably have closer to 70 wins last year. This year he can't pitch. He has no swing and miss stuff. He's been on the IL. He's done. Right? Josh Winkowski, crazy good first half of the season. Sorry, lagging a little bit here. Middle of the season, he's a middle relief pitcher that has worked about 70 innings this year. That's overusage. All 3 of those guys overused by Alex Cora, and that's before even getting into the human sacrifice stuff. I think Alex Cora is burning out these relievers. Now, granted, the starting pitching not going deep into the games doesn't help that, but I have 2 statistics up here to further prove that. I forget what day this was. August. I don't have a date, but Red Sox played the Astros, and I like to think of this as the Astros revenge game for what we did to them in Houston. They came into Fenway. They came into our house. And Kyle Barraclough came into the game, right? And don't get me wrong, the Red Sox had the lead with Kyle Barraclough in the game. Alex Cora stuck with them, and not only did he stick with them, he stuck with them to the tune of 94 pitches, 4.1 innings pitched, 11 hits, 10 earned runs, 5 walks, 3 hit by pitches, and 1 strikeout. You think it gets worse than that? It doesn't really get worse than that, but it happened again. September. No. I have the run game up, but hold on. Technical difficulties. September 1st, Friday, September 1st. Red Sox are playing the Royals. Not a great start from James Paxton. Mauricio Gilbert comes in, and out comes Brandon Walter. Brandon Walter can't pitch. 4 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned runs. Granted, no walks, 5 strikeouts. These guys are being laid out to dry. Come on, man. What are we doing here?
Man, these poor guys, man. Also, I don't know about Brandon Walter, but I'm going to say this right now. I've been tweeting it out after it happened. Hashtag justice for Barraclough, man. That man had a 2.7 ERA. He was doing terrible. That poor man then got sent down to AAA, which sucked.
We're ending
Brandon
careers
Walter,
out here. We're ending careers out here.
Actually, I'm not going to lie, though. He's a known scrub. I'm sorry, Brandon Walter. I hate to be that guy. gotta be harsh on you. I remember you. You're not that good. I love you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater. Please don't cancel me. Don't hate me. I want to have good
Come
connections in the
after him.
communication.
He
But
lives in Boston.
Brandon Walter, come on the pod one time.
Yeah,
Hit us
right?
up.
yeah, please. I just want
Hit
to
us up,
talk to
Brandon
you.
Walter.
You're probably a great guy, just not a good ball player. Sorry, but honestly, I've noticed this too a lot with Alex Cora. He overuses relievers, and another guy that I want to take my time out to say, I am a known Hanzo Robles lover over here. No, obviously, if you guys don't see my TikTok, again, check it out because I have entertaining videos about it. But poor Hanzo Robles caught some strays on my TikTok when he probably didn't deserve it. He was pitching amazing with the Red Sox at one point in 2021 down the stretch. 2022 goes into Chicago and he gets a little overused. And I say,
poor guy.
and I quote, I'm not going to swear on here because I'm not going to try. I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible. F you, you suck. You effing suck. F you, Robles, at the top of my lungs. And he didn't deserve it. But now I've woken up and I realized, yes, I understand he wasn't that good. And Mets fans, I'm sorry you had to deal with him for other years too. But I think Alex Cora just overused a lot of relievers, and I wasn't aware of it until Noah pointed it out to me. And I sat there, I was like, damn, Matt Barnes was really good. Then he got overused. He was thrown into so many non-save situations during that year, and look what happened. Lost the closer role. And then you think about it, he lost that closer role in 21. Winkowski at the beginning of the year, amazing. All of a sudden, he just starts to not pitch as well. Because that's the thing with overusing relievers too. You get more, I would say, scouting reports on pitchers because then you see them more. You see their more rhythm, their repertoire, you see their patterns, and teams pick up on that. They have scouting reports so they can see more of their pitch mix. So that's another reason why too. John Schreiber, I agree. Amazing 2022. It reminds me of also Garrett Whitlock, I feel, is a little bit overused as well. That's another Daniel Bard situation, I would feel like. But
that's a special case. That's a special case.
Yeah,
not as bad. Not as bad. But obviously, John Schreiber, Garrett Whitlock, two guys picked up from the Rule 5 who ended up being amazing relievers for the Red Sox. And then all of a sudden, their second year, they're not as dominant. And I'm hoping, and I'm fingers crossed, I know this ain't Chris Martin. I hope this doesn't happen to Chris Martin because he's been one of our most dominant relievers. And I hope next year that this doesn't happen because Chris Martin has been so good. But all I'm going to say is, Alex Cora, I respect you as a manager. You're a player's manager. You got us a World Series, but please let these guys give your guys a break. Save your bullpen, please. And thank you. Now, sorry for rambling, but Dev, tell me how you're feeling about this. I had to get that off my chest. Also, shout out Hanzo Robles, great guy. But Dev, tell me how you're feeling about Alex Cora burning out relievers. Do you feel like he burns them out? And if so, do you feel like this pattern will ever change?
I feel like this pattern will never change with Alex Cora. I feel like he's just going to keep on burning relievers. I mean, here's the thing. If we go 1 for 24 in the next, 25, 26 games, sure, burn all our relievers because you know what? I love you, Alex Cora. I really do. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised during the offseason we say goodbye to you and we look at another manager. I love you, Alex Cora, as a manager. You won us a World Series, you defend us really well, in arguments and whatnot. But, letting that guy Barracuda come in to pitch and, pitch 4 out of 1 innings, like that's just bad management right there. It reminds me of MLB The Show moment where you're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to let my relief pitcher pitch 4 1/3 inning. I'll let them score 10 runs. I don't really care how much I lose by. If it's 17-1, so be it. The energy will go right down to 1%. And, it'll be just like that. That reminds me of, MLB The Show, some dynasty moments, some right there. So it's just like Alex Cora, if you're just like Kyle Murray, you want to play video games, go right ahead. Keep on burning up our pitchers. Just let them burn. But you know what? It's not going to help you out if you want to have a future with the Boston Red Sox right now. You got to let people pitch maybe 1 1/3 inning, maybe possibly 2 in a close save situation, but you just have to have better time management with these relief pitchers. Let them pitch 1 inning, like an inning and a half or whatnot, Because if a player is giving up 10 runs in 4 and 1/3 innings, shouldn't that be a little bit concerning as a manager instead of being like, this sounds like the freaking beers and video game and chicken Red Sox. Like, hey, yep, you guys hit 4 and 1/3 inning. Yeah, sure, go right ahead. That's totally fine. That's basically saying, yeah, go right ahead. Go back with your ex. She'll be totally fine with that. Like, come on now, it's Cora. Like, you have to think about time management and game situations. Like, if that was like an Aaron Boone situation, I'd just be like, you know what, just go right ahead and do it. You're going to get fired anyways. But, it's just like Alex Cora. If you want a future with the Boston Red Sox, just like we've been saying, like, in the private chat, this team needs to go 19-6 in order just to make a playoff. If you want to win 90 games, if you want to, contend, if you want to be good. So, Alex Cora, get some better game management skills with your relief pitchers. And you just got to keep digging and don't make stupid decisions, man. I mean, we want this to be a positive podcast. We really do. We don't want to talk, badly about you unless it's Trevor, Noah's favorite topic, Trevor's story. We can talk about him, but, don't want to talk bad about you, Alex Cora, because I love you. I want you to stay a Red Sox. But if you listen. Noah is just like, you know what? Let me take Cora to Logan. I'm going to ship him off. I'm going to put him in the package, and we'll set you off to Madagascar. We'll let you,
I'll ship him out of Boston.
Right? You'll be the first one to be like, hey,
pay for the flight.
Let me get my Maserati. Let me pick you up, and you know what? I'm going to take you to that goddamn airport. We'll find a better management.
I would take him to the airport. I'd be his personal.
Oh, I know. You would take him, Duvall, Trevor Story. You'd be glad to take all those 3 people to Logan and be like, you know what? We cannot use you right now. Sayonara. Well, see you later. But, it's just that, this team needs to have better time management with, using your relief pitchers. Because you don't want to burn out your relief pitchers, even if it's a closer, setup man, or whatnot. You have to use time management well. And if that's what Alex Cora needs to do well, then the Red Sox will be making the playoffs. If not, he can just sit down, beer and chicken, 1-24. Go right ahead, man. Let us go 1-24. You know what? Make our days, because you know what? We need to say some stuff about you if we go 1-24 in the next 25 games. So you know what? Make it happen. Burn all the relievers. Go right ahead. Be my guest.
All I know is I hope that this doesn't mean that everybody in the Red Sox bullpen needs Tommy John surgery by February. I also shout out Bobby Valentine, the greatest Red Sox manager of all time. Speaking about this, I just thought about this while you were talking. I saw Craig Counsell was available to be a manager for any other team as his contract's expiring. And I always thought about this too. Would it be a situation like with the Celtics? Let's go to the NBA for a second. Brad Stevens was struggling as a coach. They brought in Ime Udoka. They put Brad Stevens as a GM. He ends up doing good in the front office. Do you see a situation where the Red Sox could be like, listen, it's not working as a manager, but we want to keep you in the organization. We want you to be like GM, and you obviously have out Time Bloom as president of baseball operations. Do you guys see that as a chance before we get into our next topic? Because we're getting into half-hour range here, which is a great time to talk. But do you guys think that if, let's say, we did get a new manager, wouldn't it be nice to see Alex Cora stay in the organization as a GM? Because at the end of the day, I know Noah says no, but if that is the case scenario, do you guys think it's possible? I mean, it happened in the NBA. Have you ever seen it happen in the MLB? Because I sure as hell have.
I don't think so, but it would be very interesting to see happen. Here's the thing. If that managerial situation happens and Cora is the GM and, we ship off Time Bloom, here's the thing. If Cora can trade for, Shohei Ohtani and somehow get Mike Trout, that would be an A+ move for the Boston Red Sox. I would love to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, a two-way pitcher and a DHer, and Mike Trout, because we could use some outfield help, even though our outfield is great. I would love to see a managerial situation like that. If Cora can, make the pitching great, acquire some, good, amazing talent, and, trade for some, higher prospecting players like a Shohei, probably sign Mike Trout or trade for him and not let the whole farm, system down, then I'd say that would be an A+ move. But, if he doesn't, then it's a bad idea. But I think I would love to see it. Is Cora better GM than he is manager? We'll find out in the next couple of weeks from now.
I think that would be pretty cool. I just thought about that. I just really thought about it because there are a lot of managers that could be used coming in the offseason if Cora's contract were to expire. Speaking about futures in Boston, we got an amazing outfielder right now in Adam Duvall, who is tearing the cover off the ball here in the month of August and the month of July. And does he have a future here in Boston? And this Red Sox outfield has a lot of potential right now in the future. And do you see a situation where Adam Duvall is in this outfield next year? I'm gonna start with you, Noah. Do you feel like Adam Duvall has a future here in Boston? Because I know you've had your thing in the past about Adam Duvall. You know you love and you hate him at times, but do you feel like he has a future in Boston? And if you do you think he has a future in this Red Sox outfield? And if so, where do you think he is? If he doesn't, what do you think is going to happen with Adam Duvall next year? Is he a Boston Red Sox in 2024?
So we are kind of getting up there on time, so I'm just going to kind of keep my thoughts on everything from here and I'll kind of brief, especially on this one, because believe it or not, I just did a video on this with Grandstand Productions. If you haven't, if you're not subscribed to Grandstand Productions YouTube channel, go subscribe. We're doing videos once a week talking about stuff all Red Sox, and I actually just did a video basically titled this, "Does Adam Duvall have a future in Boston?" And the short answer to that, you kind of sparked those. Yes, I think he does. I've come around on Adam Duvall a lot. Really struggled post IL, was kind of on a heater. I've never really liked Adam Duvall though, even when he was on that little heater in April. But he's definitely kind of grown on me. He's hitting for average this year, which is something we haven't seen since like 2018 with Duvall. But short answer, yes, I think he does have a future in Boston. And personally, I would give him the Kike Hernandez contract for next year. 1 year, $10 million. You could come back for 1 year, 10 mil, prove you still got it, prove you can still produce, and then we could just keep talking 1 year deals. But short answer, yes, I think Adam Duvall does and will be back in Boston for next season.
I like that answer. I agree. I'm going to get into it in a second. I'll keep it brief myself too in a moment. I'm going to go to Dev. Do you think Adam Duvall has a future here in with the Boston Red Sox? And if so, is it a DH role or is it an outfield role, you think?
Well, here's the situation we have to think about, and I'll keep it as brief as possible. I want to say yes, Adam Duvall does have a future here with the Boston Red Sox, but think about the situation here. Kyle Schwarber, he was ranking it up here in Boston. Kyle from Waltham, he was hitting absolute dingers, piss missiles, you call it. Playing first base, celebrating his first throw to first base. And we all wanted him back. Red Sox Nation wanted Kyle Schwarber back. I feel like this could be another Kyle Schwarber situation. He's ranking home runs. If we do make the playoffs, he'll probably hit a lot. But we're just relying on Adam Duvall right now. I want to say yes, he does have a future with the Boston Red Sox, but it's time freaking bloom. I agree with Noah. I think he gets offered a 1 year deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if they let Adam Duvall walk, because that's a Heim Bloom thing that they do. We wanted Xander Bogaerts back. We wanted Kyle Schwarber, even the infamous Mookie Betts. But, what did Heim Bloom do? Like, he hasn't made, a big move minus Schwarber. And I guess you can say Adam Duvall, maybe Trevor Story if he works out. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if, Duvall walks.
That is true. Adam Duvall, just saying, by the way, guys, has had a good resurgence season with the Boston Red Sox. This year, 273 average, 19 homers, 51 RBIs, and an OPS of 927. Also had 4 stolen bags in there, surprisingly. I think Adam Duvall does have a future with the Boston Red Sox, and I truly want to see him in either a corner outfield spot or the DH. And the reason why I say this, he's not terrible defensively in center field, but you can't keep having him here. And that's just what the outfield talk as well, too, with Jarren Duran being this good. And I think Jarren Duran is going to be even better probably next year. You want to keep him in every day. You don't want to keep platooning him and Duvall. So I think at the end of the day, this is a tough situation here because you have so many guys here. Do they re-sign Justin Turner, keep him at the DH for the leadership role? But then you need to free up the space if you want to keep Adam Duvall because he's younger and has good pop. It's an interesting story. Do you trade Verdugo in the offseason? Do you trade Verdugo and then you free up a right field spot, slot Duvall in right field, put Duran in center, Yoshida in left, or have Yoshida D play there, or Duran play center, move Yoshida to right? It's so many options that you have with the team. Even free agents like Cody Bellinger, you can get a better defensive center fielder out there too. Put Duran in left, put Duvall in right, Yoshida DH. And it's just so many options here that you could do. But I think Adam Duvall does come back. I think he has a spot with this team, and he has been amazing for the Red Sox, especially down the stretch in August. Player of the week last week. Great resurgence after the IL. He was on a tear. He was on a tear in Houston, on a tear against the Dodgers. It's good to see Adam Duvall finally figuring it out here after a struggle in his first, after coming off the IL. He struck out a lot. But hey, he's back and he's hitting for average. He's looking good. You'll have to see it. And as always, guys, I'm going to end this episode on a high note. Just want to say thank you guys for listening to this episode today. And as always, guys, please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And subscribe to Guy Boston Sports. Check out our videos. We post every day about all sports, baseball, basketball, football, you name it, hockey, all Boston sports. And if you want to check out Grandstand Productions, we post Boston Red Sox sports content weekly and talk strictly about the Boston Red Sox. Listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify as well. And I'm going to roll it before we go to the outro. We have a new segment here and a new way to end the episodes. I'm going to choose someone to say the outro today. And I think tonight, I'm going to go with you, Noah. Take it away before we go to the outro.
Rob, this is an honor. I hope you know that I've been waiting for this moment now for a very long time. So we got to make this one count, right? I love that dirty water.
Roll the outro.